Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk to you about new M. Night Shyamalan film, Knock at the Cabin. My apologies. Always want to get the title correct. It is I, your friendly neighborhood moviegoer, John L. And this might be a quick one, just because it's not that I don't have much to say about it. There wasn't any real, or should I say, there wasn't any extended feelings I had about this particular film. So let's go straight to it. Let's talk about what the people and the critics are saying about Knock at the Cabin. So Knock at the Cabin was released last Friday, February 3rd, 2023, by Universal Pictures. The movie is an hour and 40 minutes long on its runtime. And the movie is based on a book of the same name. And it stars Dave Bautista, Jonathan Groff, Ben Aldridge, Nikki, Amuka-Bird, Kristen, Abby Quinn, and of Harry Potter fame, Rupert, Grint. And M. Night Shyamalan actually makes a cameo in this film. So with all that being said, here's a synopsis of the film. While vacationing at a remote cabin, a young girl and her parents are taken hostage by 4 armed strangers who demand that the family make an unthinkable choice to avert the apocalypse. With limited access to the outside world, the family must decide what they believe before all is lost. So, with that being the premise of the movie, I said to myself, all right, I'll give M. Night another shot. It's been a while since I liked any of his movies. I think the last time I liked anything he did was, damn, I can't even think that far back, can I? Well, anyways, I went into this movie with an open mind. And to say that I found the movie interesting, I liked it quite a bit because it did exactly what I thought the trailers portrayed. 2/3 of the movie built up a lot of suspense. You understood the motivation behind the antagonist in the movie. And everything was pretty clear. Nothing was ambiguous at all. Now, with all that being said, the gist of having to make this grave sacrifice in order to preserve the greater good, and in this case, the preservation of the greater good is preserving humankind. Having to make a decision as to who to eliminate of your own family is such a hard choice to make, right? Given the choice. I thought that the performances in this film were so very good. Big ups, props to, and great job by Dave Bautista. The Animal, as I grew up knowing him, former pro wrestler. Dave's been doing some pretty good stuff as of late, outside of his Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. So he's really dug into the craft. He takes direction well. And his role in this movie, man, dude he gave you so many different facets of emotion, personality. Like, he was such a layered character in this that you couldn't help but be or feel like, damn, even though this sounds crazy, he's such a kind man. Like, you couldn't put two and two together with what he was saying and the message he was trying to convey to this family that they took hostage. Obviously, they were terrified. It was all this. And they built the tension. They built the horror in the sense of they were able to see the family, that is. That everything that Dave Bautista and his other associates were saying was becoming true. But then there were other parts in the movie, as per the other side, the protagonists, where things were a little subverted as per the plot, where it's like, oh, this is all BS. All this stuff that you're showing us is pre-recorded. It's not real. How can this decision fall on a random family of 3 in the middle of the woods? So you had to suspend your disbelief to then come to this decision, right? They had to pick 2 fathers and a daughter, right? That was the family. That it was Dave Bautista's character. He was the lead. Rupert Grint's character, who was more of the angsty, angry, former ex-con type. Then there was Nikki Amuka-Bird's character, very loving, nurturing, caretaker type. She was a nurse. And then Abby Quinn, she played a serviceable character, person of service who just liked to do for others. And the part that got me the most, and how all the different personalities played, even on the protagonist side, the young daughter, she was 8 years old, an adopted child, by a gay couple. One of the fathers was a civil rights lawyer. And the other father, their background wasn't necessarily set out there. At least it wasn't clear to me as to what he did from a job perspective, right? From career aspect. But he was the one that was used to deliver the message of, well, if one of the fathers doesn't believe, can this guy be enticed to believe? So he was the break in the whole entire thing. And it worked for the first 2/3 of the movie. And I like the movie. I don't think that the ending is as bad as other outlets make it to be. Sure. Was it what the original book had? No. They completely changed the ending. The other thing about it is that you did all this work to subvert expectations, and at the end of it all, you still had this family make this decision. Spoiler alert, folks. Sorry, I forgot to put that out there. And yet everybody else of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse Dave Bautista's people, they die anyways. And then they still make the choice after everybody dies anyways, because they don't want anybody else in the world to die. Why go through all that they went through? Watch the trauma and the murder that happened in front of these people's eyes. Why go through all that if you still end up making the choice? Like, you were already shown multiple times that what these crazy quote unquote people were telling you was true. It's like, that's a huge plot hole. And then, yeah, man, the ending really, really kind of like, oh man, M. Night really has a problem with wrapping his films up. Like, that is his biggest issue. The ending to his films. Like I said, I like the movie. The ending doesn't circumvent the rest of the film. I think they did a good job with everything else in the film. I wouldn't say the last third completely. I'd say the last 10 to 15 minutes is like, ugh, why? It's like we went through all this, right? Yeah, no doubt the ultimate sacrifice was still made, but it's like, you couldn't have decided this earlier? That was the feeling I left with, right? But everybody had good performances. I thought Dave was great. The young lady, Kristen Sui? I don't know how to say her last name. Young Asian girl who played the daughter. I thought she was tremendous. Hopefully she gets more work in the future. And that Dave gets to put more of his acting chops on the block in future films. M. Night, man, I don't even know what to tell you, dog. This was a good attempt, but you're still lacking with the endings here. Not too sure what else to tell you. From a overall standpoint, the professional side of making the movies, the cinematography, the audio engineering, the color palette. I watched it in Adobe Cinema, so everything was amplified. I think the movie was shot great. I think the camera work that M. Night went with some of the zoom ins and then the blur and the more high definition close ups, incredible. Like I said, the sound design and the sound engineering for this film was amazing. I think that the cinematography, even though they weren't necessarily like shooting a location, but where they shot at, they made it the cabin they shot at, they made it such a world. And I think that was intentional. So that was a really good job as well in that regard. But would I recommend it? It's one of those films that I leave up to you guys, right? Because I know M. Night Shyamalan's lost a lot of fans over the years due to how his films have been received. As of right now, if we're talking Rotten Tomatoes, 235 critics have gotten it to a 68%, and with 500 plus verified ratings, 64% of the audience likes this film. So it's not divided by any stretch of the imagination. Critics and fans are pretty much even on it. But, it's not on the high end of things. But I think this was a good turn at the plate, to coin a phrase, for M. Night. Just got to shore up that finish. Legit, because I think if we would have ended the movie with like a swerve or something, probably would have been better off. I never read the book, so I don't necessarily know how the book ended, but I'm sure if they probably went with the book ending, it probably would have been a better finish for the film itself. I just know that the film didn't end like the book ended due to interviews from M. Night Shyamalan and other critics' reviews and things of that nature. So take that into consideration, folks. So I leave this up to you guys. Watch it in theaters if you will. If not, then, you can wait for it if you like. Until next time, folks, this has been your friendly neighborhood moviegoer, John L., signing off. Until next time, be good, take care of yourselves, and stay healthy, folks.